Hello, all. Nice to have you with us. It's time to stand up to the outrage junkies. Time to battle brittle brains atop balsa wood spines while fighting the thin-skinned nanny staters at every turn. It's Brian. I'm in, and very glad you joined us for today's ride. So what do you say? Let's get ready to mortal up. Good morning and welcome to episode 478 of the Brian Brawdy Show, day after Easter. Belated happy Easter to you. If you didn't get my post or my text yesterday, belated happy Easter. As I said, episode 478 of your 20-minute victory. And our goal is always to help you jumpstart your mind, right? To prime your mind, if you will. To give it a kickstart each and every morning so that we ultimately can become your cognitive bodyguard. And today, I'm very excited because I really do believe we have a cognitive bodyguard kind of episode that you're really going to dig. And a lot of it has to do with, you've seen, we're talking about the ramp up to the reset. It's all about the aftermath. Well, I saw a really cool article the other day. I won't mention the person's name because I haven't cleared it with them. But one of their questions they have, and just dovetailing with my belief system, is that you look 100 days down the road, always, right? Or you look 100 feet down the path. I don't know if you know this, but if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're hiking around, people say to me, well, how do you navigate in the wilderness? You got a map and a compass and there's all these kind of things, which is absolutely true. Absolutely true. But if you ever want to really pay attention to what's going on around you, about every 100 yards, I turn around and I look back, not to see necessarily where I've come from, but I want to see if it's an out and back course or if I get lost or something else. I want to see what the vantage point is from 100 yards down the way, right? So then when I get 100 yards, I turn around and look back. So if I'm ever in that spot and I go, oh, you know what? That looks familiar. Well, if you're walking past it, you're not going to know what looks familiar if you don't turn around, right? And even though I say all the time, so we're not built for backwards, we don't walk backwards, but 100 days, 100 yards, 100 minutes, if you will, down the road, it's nice to philosophically be able to pause, unless you're out in the middle of nowhere. You're on an adventure, then you want to physically do it, but you look back to kind of address, to get an idea of the landscape. And for me, when I look back 100 days from now, 100 days out, turn around looking back, I believe there are going to be some really silver linings. It's unfortunate, and our heart goes out to the families that have lost loved ones because of coronavirus, because of COVID-19. I saw someone today calling it the Chinese Communist CCP virus. Whatever you think, however you want to label it, Wuhan virus, whatever you want to label it. I believe that down the road, we're going to recover in a huge way. Absolutely a huge way. And you have to ask yourself, are you going to be a part of that recovery? Are you going to be a part of the balm or the blame we've talked about before? So this morning, I'd like to focus on a few things. In addition, I want to talk to you about audio vitamins, which is a new thing we're going to be doing here in the mornings on the Brian Brawdy Show. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But you know what? Let's do this. Let's jump to our breaking news story, and then we'll get to the auto vitamins a little bit later in the episode, because I'm so excited about this. I've been doing this for probably 40 years now. I've been writing down these one-liners, these riffs, these little taglines, these, whatever you want to call them. And I'm really fired up to be sharing them with you, and they're going to be called audio vitamins. We'll get to that in a little bit, but let's do this first. I like that. Listen to that second one. Breaking news. I don't know, we might shorten that up a little bit, but the breaking news, here's what it is for this morning. You ready? I've been talking about this since yesterday sometime. Here's the breaking news. In any recovery, right, phoenix from the ashes, entrepreneurs are going to be that phoenix. Because when you think about being a hunter-gatherer, when you think about the very first, let's do it this way. When you think about the very first entrepreneur, they were hunter-gatherers. Entrepreneurs are those people that look at the tea leaves and figure out, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to make this work? What specifically is it that fate has dealt us right now at this particular moment in all of time, we talk about that. What's the hand I've been dealt right now? And remember that hunter-gatherer, that's in our blood, right? Now, whether you believe we got tossed out of the Garden of Eden or we walked off the savannas of Africa, we still had to scrap. We still had to find our way. We still had to be a part of an adventure. Remember, we talk about all the time, adventure, something about to happen. Well, the best in humanity, or you have to admit, you and I wouldn't even be here. We wouldn't have all these cool things if it weren't for that ability in us. Now, maybe we've gotten a little, as you know, I call it cognitively chunky, a little philosophically pudgy, if you will, of late. But at the very core of who we are, the grit, the marrow of our minds, who are we? We're hunter-gatherers. We go throughout the day and figure out what's presented to us, what's the hand that we've been dealt, and then what's the best way to play it. So that given that entrepreneurs were the first hunter and gatherers, people go, oh, I don't know, bro. I've always worked for the man, or can I say man anymore? I've always worked for the woman. I don't want to mansplain or so I don't know what it is we can say we work for anymore. But there you go. It's in you to be a hunter-gatherer. It's in you to be able to look at what's lying around and figure out, how am I going to use this to my advantage? What am I going to do? Oh, yes, thank you very much. Don't forget, for those of you that are accustomed to the gong heard round the world, we now have a prayer bowl heard round the world. And we do that just because it's so much smaller in here, right? So I figured the prayer bowl would be easier to get in than the actual gong. But maybe someday we put the gong right behind us and you hit that and go boom, 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 boom. So you remember what that's like. But thank you very much for the text and reminding me. Today we're talking about, in episode 478, thank you for joining us, we're talking about entrepreneurs being the phoenix that rises from the ashes. Whatever this aftermath is, however this plays out. Look, I don't believe our economy is ever going back the way it was. But what I do believe wholeheartedly is that entrepreneurs will lead the way. There'll be 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 companies that years down the road we'll look back and go, man, those companies just rocketed, right? Because what did they do? They channeled their inner hunter-gatherer. Realizing that they've been hunters-gatherers for as long as you could think back. They were like, no, it's time for me. I'm going to stand up, right? I'm going to call upon my natural resources. I'm going to call upon my grit, my human grit. I'm going to call upon the marrow of my minds, my authentic vigor, the strength, the sturdiness, the stoutness of soul that I talked about yesterday. I'm going to call on that. And that's what's going to help me rise to the top. So I've said to everyone that'll listen to me, look, post-reset, what does leadership look like? It looks like you. What does a true leader look like? Like your reflection in the mirror. Because ultimately, you're the one that we're going to look to figure out exactly what it takes to get out of this. You're the one. So why am I so confident in saying you're the one? Let's go back to it again. Because ultimately, hunter-gatherers were the first entrepreneurs, and it's in you to be a hunter-gatherer. So it's in you to rise to the top. It's in you to look up, to stand up, to bring your own bold and immortal up. That's the breaking news for the day. That's my heartfelt belief in all of this, that it's already in you, right? You weren't built fragile. Yeah, maybe a little bit you got here as a baby, but you know what I'm saying. Philosophically, you weren't built to fail. And there's no reason 100 days, 100 weeks, 100 months from now to look back on this time with any type of dread. We can look back on this time and say, heaven help us, we're still here, that we were the ones that charted the course for the recovery. Which leads me to my final thought. What we're talking about is the old breed of entrepreneur. Everyone, you watch, mark my words, everyone will be talking about, oh, the new breed of entrepreneur, baloney. It's the old breed of entrepreneur. Why? Once again, because hunter-gatherers were our first entrepreneurs. So old breed, old school, you got to go back to being the badass you've always been, right? Maybe we become come on, let's be honest. Maybe you and I become a little bit of a couch potato. We're looking for everyone else to do everything that we want, right? You just, we'll search it on the web. We'll call a number. We'll hire someone to cut our grass, hire someone to chop our wood, hire someone to do this or do that. So maybe we have become enslaved to our binge thinking. Maybe. Don't know. I'm not accusing you. I'm accusing myself. That's all I can do, right? Don't know. But maybe you'd go, maybe Brian's just a teeny bit right. That's why I call all the time and say, let's go back to the old breed of entrepreneur. And that old breed is scrappy. That old breed is most certainly stout. That old breed doesn't take no for an answer, nor should you. There's no reason for you to. So I would offer balm. Let everyone else do the blame game. It's going to be all over. Can I tell you one other quick thing from Hurricane Katrina? And maybe we'll do a little bit of a show about that. I don't know. But I remember Hurricane Katrina, those few years back, where there were signs everywhere. What happened to FEMA? FEMA, where are you? What's this or that? So let me just say this, because I know it's popular now. Everyone wants to point fingers and get into the fight. And who's going to blame? We're going to blame the governors. We're going to blame the president. We're going to blame this one, that one. I remember after Hurricane Katrina, everybody blamed FEMA. Everybody on the ground blamed FEMA. And that's when I cultivated this idea that if you're waiting for someone to ride in on a white horse and save you, you're backing the wrong pony. Let's say that together. Let's say it again together. If I'm waiting on a hero or a heroine on a white horse to ride in and save me, I'm backing the wrong pony. Because, look, even if you don't want to assess any evil, any malcontent to the government, whoever it is, there's just not enough folks to help you and I. If everyone picks up the phone at one time and dials 911, 99.999% of us aren't going to get through. What do you think? They got 250,000 people at 911 waiting to answer your call? No. You're backing somebody on a white horse, waiting for that horse to ride in and save you. You're betting on the wrong pony. All I'm suggesting is that entrepreneurs know that. There's no safety net. There's no rodeo clown. What's the song from Garth Brooks or Aerosmith, whoever it came from originally? Riding like there ain't no clown. Performing like there ain't no safety net. Well, you and I, as true entrepreneurs, look, if you're nothing else in life, if you go and you say, I never could run my own business, you're already an entrepreneur. If you learned how to crawl and then walk and then do anything other than eat from a nipple, then you're an entrepreneur. Because what entrepreneur means, they take what's coming at them and they make it work. There's no surrender. There's no turning back. That's what it means to be an entrepreneur. So that's why I'm so excited about it. Everyone's like running around, I don't know. Well, we just need to go back to being the old breed of entrepreneur. And that old breed of entrepreneur didn't count on anyone but him or herself. That was it. End of discussion. And I'm going to suggest the people that remember that will be the ones that are truly successful in whatever lies ahead for us. They're going to be the ones that know exactly how to play the hand they've been dealt. All right, so that's my thought for today. And again, I think about this. What does leadership look like in the future? It looks like you. And even if it's at the micro level, it's absolutely true that you're going to be the only leader. You're the one that's responsible for figuring out how you're going to handle whatever fate throws at you and I. But I'm excited about it because I think you're way up for the challenge. There's dirt in your DNA. In your genetic makeup, there's grit. And the grit to be able to handle whatever the future throws at us. All right, let's do this quickly. I'm so excited about this. Friends and family will recognize this. I've grown up doing this with my grandfather, so it's probably more than 40 years. But I get it from him, these one-liners, these slogans, these taglines, these little auditory riffs, I call them. So let me go ahead. We're going to, instead of the breaking news, what am I doing here? Instead of the breaking news, this would have been an intro. We need some kind of intro, but here we are right now, our very first. And pretty soon you'll be able to come over to mortalup.com. If you don't know about it already, come to mortalup.com. You can sign up for everything. And we're not like all these people running around with coupon codes and, here's our coronavirus special. You can get 25% off all the programming we do. Everything, at least for the foreseeable future, is absolutely free. We're not going to give you a coupon code. We're not going to give you a discount. How can you discount nothing? We're not going to get none of that. None of that. All of our content is absolutely free. So head on over to mortalup.com. and we'll be able to hook you up. One of the things that you're going to see there very shortly, here we go. Welcome to your audio vitamin, or as we like to call it around here, sound bites that you can wash down with your first cup of coffee. I love it. I got to tell you, right? You get up early in the morning like this morning, and you're thinking, oh, you sucked down your coffee, which I still got to be honest with you. You know, my kids will say, or someone will say, well, you know, you like the way that coffee tastes? No, it's the most horrible tasting thing in the world, but I need the caffeine, I guess, right? Maybe like you. I need the caffeine. Can't taste it's just vile. But in any event, these audio vitamins are not. So just a little vitamin that you can use, suck it down with your coffee, and it'll never take more than 45 seconds max, maybe under a minute. Let's make that commitment. There'll always be 59 seconds or less for your audio vitamins, because we're not going to be like those little packets where you have all different little cubby holes. By the time you're done, you shake and your stomach just shakes. Or actually got 400 vitamins in you. It's not going to be like that. Audio vitamin, it's going to be a quick hit. It's going to be cunning. It's going to be concise. And it's going to be the cognitive caffeine, let's call it, to help with the biological caffeine, the cognitive caffeine you use to get through your day. So here it is. Oh, this would have been great if I was smart enough to figure out how to do audio segues, because we could have done a drum roll. Right, like that. Or we'll just do a gong. Let's do a gong hit for our very first. Here we go. Our very first audio vitamin queued up just for you. All right, here we go. From Helen Keller. You know her. You love her. Great author, by the way, as well. A happy life consists not in absence, but in the mastery of hardship. Think about that. A happy life, especially if you're a human being. Who I don't know what it's like for worms and bugs and birds and the like. I get this bird that keeps ramming into my window every morning at 5 o'clock, which has turned out to be a great alarm, to be honest with you, but trying to attack its reflection in the window. But in any event, outside of bugs and birds, a happy human life consists not in absence, but in the mastery of hardships. And if you and I agree on nothing else, we agree that we're in pretty much of a hardship right now. So what are you going to do to master that hardship? Knowing full well that I believe that if you want to talk about what's leadership look like in the future, it looks like you. End of discussion. Right? That you're going to tap that inner hunter-gatherer. And you're going to do what it takes to be successful no matter what. Maybe, as we talked about, 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 businesses. You could very well be one of those businesses that a year from now, 2 years from now, a decade from now, we look back and go, man, that company rose, that company was, right? When we talk about entrepreneurs being the phoenix, boy, that company sure rose out of the ashes. Took charge of the situation at hand and crushed it. Totally made it work. So one more time, our audio vitamin of the day from Miss Helen Keller. A happy life consists not in absence, but in the mastery of hardship. And it's how you and I master this hardship at hand right now, this craziness going on in the world. It's how we master this hardship right now that future will remember. Oh, that's it. I said 20 minutes. I promised. That's what the future will remember. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Time to cue the close. Thank you so very much for joining us this morning. Again, if you need anything, head on over to mortalup.com. Thank you to Wayne for all the work that you've done to get the website. The website really is like the one place to shop, right? So just come on in. Everything's free, but you know what I mean. The one place to go to get all of the information you're going to need is to how to be your mind's Mandalorian, how to be your own cognitive bodyguard, all that. That's what's coming in the days and weeks ahead as we get ready to ramp up for the reset, because it's all about the aftermath. And I'm thrilled to tell you, I think you're going to crush it. All right, we're out of here until tomorrow. Thank you so very much. Head on over to mortalup.com, as I say. Let us know if we can help in any way, and we will most certainly try. Thank you so very much for joining me bright and early this morning. We will see you tomorrow.